the most stable, income is kind of not spotty, but kind of spotty. Is that like a turnoff for like someone our age, or is it just when you're like older and have an opportunity to work at a place for a longer period of time?
I don't think it's a turnoff if it can be explained. I mean, I feel like if you had gaps in your resume or short employment at different places, and you explained to me just like that, I wouldn't hold it against you. Completely understand.
And hopefully you've talked about the importance of the last 4 years of your life being around education and getting my degree. So I had to find jobs that would allow me to be top priority. And then when you apply straight out of college, that priority changes from I'm not looking for jobs around my education, I'm looking for jobs, this is my career. So now so as far as when you're first starting out, that is kind of thrown out the window. We're gonna see things like Pizza Hut on there and the evening jobs that you had to have in order to get through college. But once I start seeing gaps in that resume, 6 months, a year after college, and I don't mind the soul searching, that's fine, but it has to be tangible enough to list on there. Unemployed for a year after college makes me think that you were hoping to get a VP position straight out of college. I don't know what you were holding out for, but let's get in, let's get going somewhere, and let's get started and see what happens from there.
Can we talk about that for a second?
Go for it.
I talked a little bit before about my career path at the bank and where I started to where I am now. I think that is something that's very important to share with you as well. Is you are going to enter your work experience as entry level, most likely. I mean, there's going to be exceptions. Somebody might, land the big gig in Kansas City that we all wanted, but we didn't want to move to Kansas City, whatever it might be, okay? You are going to start your job more than likely at entry level. I don't want you guys to go out there thinking, oh, she's vice president of marketing, yep, I'm gonna get out of Wayne State College, I'm gonna go get that job. It's probably not gonna work that way. So you've gotta be willing to put in the time, have patience, and prove yourself in that organization. You want them to look at you and think, what did we ever do without them? Make yourself that valuable. They can't afford to give you up. If you work, I tell some of our staff, I said, you know what? Work hard, but do it silently. Don't look for the spotlight. Don't always be looking to be front and center. Don't always be waving your hands in the air looking for accolades and recognition. Management sees what's going on, and we know who is doing the work. We also know, who's looking for the recognition, but that might not be the same person. So work hard, do it silently, and do it humbly. Also, think about, people who are in management, they have conversations behind closed doors. It happens, right? You want to be in that conversation? Absolutely. But for what? For what reason? Why? Why do you want to be in that conversation? What do you want them saying about you? Too many times, we're always talking about people for bad reasons. You want to make sure that you're talked about, and when you're talked about, it's for the right reason, okay? It's not because she's always stirring the pot, she's always causing problems, she's always trying to get so-and-so in trouble, she's always talking bad about Janet, she's always saying that Susie isn't doing her job. We want to be talking about you saying, wow, she's incredible. Where can we move her up to? How can we progress in her career? How can we make sure she stays here? He or she, whatever. So make sure that you're in the conversation, but make sure it's for the right reasons.
I want to go back to putting in the time because, once again, I said this in the first session, this is the only time in your life that you will ever be around this many people that are the exact same spot in their life. Usually doesn't have enough money, usually likes to go have a Jaeger bomb, usually likes to order pizza, usually has to get to class by 9 in the morning the next morning. Doesn't have kids at home, doesn't have a mortgage weighing over their shoulders, that kind of thing. So when you leave Wayne State College and you have your degree and you go into that job thinking it's VP of marketing, reality is it's entry-level position. There have been people that are going to be at that organization that have put in the time, have shown up silently, never recognized themselves, never patted themselves on the back. They've been working hard for 28 years in that spot, in that same organization. Where do you think you come in at for walking in and changing the world instantly in that organization? You can bring new ideas, that's fantastic, but you're not gonna change it. You have not put in the time yet to put forth that effort. And with a really young company as like myself, being only 5 years old, I don't have a lot of years of, our longest time employee is Deb, and she's worked for us for just over 4 years now, and it's been tremendous, her wisdom. She still does the same, she's probably over 60, I don't even know, she's young at heart and I love her, but she comes in and every day new attitude, and she understands, because she's worked at other jobs, that this is her job, and putting in that time is so important. So just, you've got to, yeah, it's important to understand that when you get into the workforce, you will not be around people. They both have kids. They both have 3 kids. I don't have any kids. I don't know what they dealt with last night during bedtime. I don't know what they dealt with getting them on the bus this morning. But I have different, I have different things that, cause me to have things at night and in the morning. So everybody's at different points in their life, so understand that.
So you kind of touched on like the experience paradigm, like how do, you want somebody with experience, but like how do I get experience if I don't, like it's entry, entry level position is probably where you're gonna end up, but like the beauty of Wayne State College is that you can be as involved as you want to and make a difference. And so like those extracurriculars, like, oh yeah, I was on student senate, or I was really big into Delta, or was the other one SHRM?
Sure.
SHRM,
Society for Human Resource
I just
Managers.
learned that today. So hey, I was really involved in these, like those extra things that will take you above and beyond. So maybe hey, I was at Pizza Hut for 6 months, and then I worked at the coffee shop on Main, and then I was at the brewery. Those things can be overcome by like those extracurricular and that involvement in there, and like that's what I want to see in my employees, that like, hey, like they are involved, they are in those things, they are super engaged, they went above and beyond.
All right.